All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about the architecture of great ideas. We're going to build a blueprint, step by step, for how you can turn a simple question into a project that has real, lasting impact. So let's jump right in.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Whether we're talking about a skyscraper, a new company, or a piece of research that changes a field, what does it really take to build something that stands the test of time? It doesn't just happen, right? It all starts way, way before the first brick is ever laid.
Well, the secret? It's the blueprint. Before any ground is broken, there's this incredibly detailed plan that maps out every single element. And in the world of research and big projects, this blueprint has a name, the prospectus. You can think of it as the master plan for your entire project.
Okay, so first things first. Every single strong structure out there needs a rock-solid base. And in our research blueprint, this is all about locking down the why. I mean, without it, nothing else you build on top is going to matter. At all.
And that's where the problem statement comes in. Now, here's the thing you got to understand. It's not just some broad topic. It's the specific issue, the challenge, the gap that you've noticed. It's like you found the perfect plot of land, and more importantly, you have a really, really good reason for why something needs to be built there.
And look, I can't stress this enough. Having a vague or weak problem statement is literally like trying to build a skyscraper on sand. The whole project, no matter how cool or ambitious it sounds, is just going to be unstable from the get-go. A strong foundation is absolutely non-negotiable. All right, our foundation is poured and it's solid. Now it's time to actually start putting up the main structure. These next couple of elements are what will give our project its actual shape and its direction. So let's see how these pieces come together.
So first up, we have the purpose statement. If the problem was our why, then the purpose, that's our what. It's the one single overarching goal of your entire project. Just picture it as the massive central support beam of your building. It has to rest directly on that foundation, the problem, because it's going to hold up everything else.
So you've got this main beam, right? Now we start building out from there with our research questions. And these aren't big, fuzzy goals. They're sharp, focused questions that will guide your actual work. So let's make this real for a second. Let's say our problem is that companies have no idea if remote work is helping or hurting productivity. The purpose then is to figure out the effect of remote work on productivity. And the research questions? Well, those are the walls and floors that give it shape. Like, how do productivity levels change between remote and in-office teams? Or which tools seem to be linked with higher productivity for remote workers? See how specific that gets?
Okay, we've got a foundation, we've got a main support beam, we've got walls going up. It looks like we have a blueprint. But here's the deal. Now comes maybe the most critical step of the entire process, the structural integrity check.
You know, this is that moment of truth for any builder, any researcher. We've got all these different parts laid out, but do they actually connect? Do they support each other? In other words, is the entire structure aligned, or is something off? And this right here, this just lays it all out perfectly. So look over on the left. You see that sound structure? The purpose, that main beam, connects right to the problem. And the questions, the walls and floors, they flow logically from that purpose. Everything's working together. Now, look at the one on the right. Yikes. That's a flawed blueprint, and you can see those fatal gaps. With our remote work example, this would be like having a purpose to study productivity, but your research questions ask about employee happiness. They might feel related, but they don't actually build a structure you set out to build. That thing is going to fail. The takeaway here is massive. Alignment is everything.
So you're probably asking, okay, how do I actually check my own blueprint? Well, it really boils down to this super simple 4-point test. 1, state your problem. What's the real issue? 2, check your purpose. Does your main goal actually address that problem? 3, review your questions. Do they logically flow from your purpose? And finally, step 4, take a step back and make sure every single piece, every part, serves that original problem you started with.
You know, getting this whole alignment thing right, it's not just some boring academic exercise. Not at all. It's the key that unlocks the door from just, finishing a project to creating something with real, lasting impact.
So why should you care? Why does this matter so much? Because, as the source material really points out, this isn't a one-and-done thing. This is a skill you're going to use for your entire professional career. It's what ensures that whatever work you put out there is solid, credible, and well-built.
And in the end, this is the real payoff. Proper alignment, as our source says, is what takes your work to the next level. It's what allows your project to do more than just exist. It lets you contribute significantly to the scholarly conversation. It's what makes sure your building doesn't just stand there, it becomes a landmark that people notice. So as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with this one question. Think about that next big idea you have, that project that's been kicking around in your head. What does its blueprint look like? Is it aligned? Is it really built to last? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.